I'm good.
So I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned the guy didn't have yay many long guns in the gun safe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips for people just in terms of like basic responsibility for keeping your weapons like out of other people's hands?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, gun safety should be on the any gun owner should have gun safety at the forefront of their things, whether they have kids or not. In the story we talked about this morning, someone entered the home and stole the guns, which is a problem in and of itself. Sounds like there was a gun safe there, and proper use of the gun safe would have probably deterred what ended up happening here. It all starts with having gun locks on the trigger locks, especially if there's kids in the house, but also if they're stolen. I know thieves can maybe overcome that one, but any steps you can take to be a responsible gun owner, we encourage across the board. So something like the long guns and having the safe. If you've gone through, and hopefully you have, to be a responsible gun owner, to have a gun safe where you can lock up your guns further, the proper use of it, making sure that they're in there, making sure that the door is locked and secured, and if there's keys, keeping the keys in a safe place where someone can't get at them or find them. And if it's a code, making sure it's not a code that's easily guessed or one that you can change frequently if you need to. So it's all about being responsible with the gun ownership.
Perfect. Do you have any like suspects for this, or do you know how somebody might have found out that this guy had this many materials?
Right. So no suspects right now. Our deputies will do a canvass of the neighborhood. Security cameras on other houses, see if they captured anything. In this case, I don't believe, or at least I didn't see in the report, that the homeowner themselves had a security system. Again, with the cost of those going down these days, I would encourage everyone to get some type of system on their house, not just for this type of crime, but just for general safety reasons. But nothing at this time for us to kind of point to a certain suspect.
Yeah, is there anything that people should think about, in case this wasn't a random thing, in case somebody knew that he had, this many materials,
right,
targeted him? Are there any sort of like best practice as far as like talking about the things that you have? I don't necessarily want to like shift into victim blaming,
Yep.
but like, is there like kind of a best practice? I wouldn't necessarily go around being like, I
right,
keep my grandmother's jewels in my apartment alone, kind of thing.
Yeah, go, and I like you said it best, don't want to be victim blaming, but when you go out, that type of information isn't something that you want to go to a bar and start discussing with people around, and even people that you don't think are listening. Social media has also been another one where people are proud of their possessions and they have a right to be, but when you start putting it on social media and that starts getting shared and people are looking for possible a target, of course, if the more you kind of brag about the possessions that you have, the more a favorable target you become. So you have to resist the urge to kind of brag and show the things that maybe targets of opportunity or something that someone else is seeking to take the easy way out.
So the guns are gone. Kind of now what, can you kind of describe the process of getting these logged and what could possibly happen if they are, traced and turned up?
Yeah, so we're really hoping to get the serial numbers off, because then we can enter the guns the proper way into NCIC as stolen firearms. One of the biggest things in our favor, if we're able to do that, if this person or if people go to take them to a pawn shop or a federally licensed gun dealer, they do a check of the serial numbers, and that's going to immediately show up that these are stolen firearms. So that would be the biggest thing in our favor right now, is to get that information from the gun owner themselves so we can get it entered properly. We can't do anything about maybe private party sales if that were to happen with these, but if they're going to take them to one of those reputable dealers or a pawn shop, it should get reported to us and we can flag it and get the guns back to the owner.
You probably don't know this number off the top. I just want to kind of see if you can ballpark it. We talked over the summer about like the number of firearms that local law enforcement like seizes. Do those tend to be more in the way of unregistered guns, or do those tend to be things that have been stolen?
I guess it depends on the type of seizure. On a lot of the drug warrants or different types of calls, a lot of those are not registered to the people that we're taking them from. There are some other circumstances under certain conditions with court orders and stuff where we have to seize guns, and most of those are going to be with the registered owner. So I think there's a distinction that needs to be made there, but most of the ones that we end up seizing as a result of a crime are not the registered owners when we end up seizing them.
That's about all I have. Do you have
Okay.
anything else?
Me? No, sorry, I don't.